Hey guys, welcome to another Iron Mike GT Sport stream. Today we're at in the FIA Cup Catalunya Group 3. This is round 1 of 2021 season. I've chosen Toyota and I'm not too sure what the car is, but this is my qualifying, just showing you this. I was considering starting from the back, but I looked at the times and I thought I'm just going to go for it and see what I can come up with. And so I get position 4, which was okay. I was hoping to get obviously right up near the front. So once qualifying was over, I was thinking about starting with the hards. That's what I really wanted to start with, but because I was up the front, I was in two minds. So time ran out, it's time to start the race. So this is a hard, medium, soft race. Hards are required. So my plan is to go soft at the beginning and hard at the end. Just before the race, I thought fuel mix 2 is a pretty good idea to go with to save a bit of fuel without compromising too much speed. Just at the beginning, I thought I'll just go with fuel mix 1. My brake balance for soft and hard was right to the back. I found the fronts just wore pretty bad. The tyre wear is ×10 and fuel is ×4. And that's, I don't know his name, Ginsen or something, Japanese guy. Hard tyres, cold, just hit into me. So I've lost the place there, I'm in 5th. And just getting back to the car setup, traction control 1, just to try and look after the tyres. I didn't want to go 2 in case it would slow the car down too much. You can see behind me, cars are going everywhere. And then off goes one of the front runners, Project K2R, Japanese. So just slowly moving up and getting my position back. So still, I'm considering going to fuel mix 2, but I just, again, wasn't sure. I thought I need to just stay with these guys for now. But on this straight, I thought right now, the people behind me are out of my slipstream. I can go to fuel mix 2. I really wanted to go fuel mix 2 pretty much as early as I could to make the most of it. And then while I'm behind these guys, it kind of helps me stay calm and focus on looking after my tyres. There's no real chance to overtake, and with this slight battling, it's causing me to slow down a bit, and that's encouraging me just to try and stay calm and treat the tyres well. Here's an overtake opportunity. The Australian in the Ford test car went out wide, but obviously I'm on fuel mix 2 and his car in a straight line is real fast. I thought at this point he got a penalty, but obviously I don't know what country that is, maybe Vietnam or something, got a half-second penalty. So I wanted to keep up close to these guys and take advantage of that situation. While that's all going on, I could see that guy that did hit me, Ginsen or something. I could see that split time was getting bigger and bigger. It was 1.8, it's now 3 seconds. I know I'm on soft tyres here, but I just couldn't believe how far they were dropping back. So I was assuming that people behind me were, and you can see on the top right hand map, they're all pretty close to each other, so they're probably fighting. So this is good for me. I wanted to get a bit of more breathing space behind me. So, what's his name? Soul Play. Just touched the grass there. I thought this guy knocked him off, but in the replay, see, he just went on the grass and lost the back end. So it's unfortunate for him, but I now move up to 3rd, and this is looking real good for me. 3.8 seconds ahead of 4th place, and the gap is slowly, it's going down at the moment, but over time it slowly grows. Still looking after my tyres and just trying to hang in with this guy. So at the moment, 3 Australians up in 1st, 2nd, 3rd. It's looking good. During the week, again, I'd done a bit of practice, and so my confidence wasn't high for this race because I tried a number of strategies. One of them was hard tyres only, fuel mix 4 and no stop. And I found that just wasn't the way to go because I was slow at the beginning, and at the end my hard tyres were slightly worn, and I was also slow at the end. So I knew that a no stopper really wasn't the way to go. So hard soft I found was reasonable. I didn't really give hard medium any attempt. I'd done a number of laps, and obviously soft was the fastest, medium the middle slightly slower, and hard even more slower. So I thought I'm going to stick with hard and soft, and stick with soft for as long as I can. Starting on soft in this race, I've got to try and look after the tyres, which you can see they're starting to wear, and go as far as I can. There was one of the practice races, there was one guy who did a two-stopper, and he was in the lead at the beginning, but doing a two-stopper, the pit time is quite lengthy, especially if you need to refuel. And he fell back, so I was saying to this guy, looks like a two-stopper is too much, and a one-stopper is not enough. A no-stopper is not enough. So I felt like a one-stopper race was the way to go. So look at the gap behind me now. It's about 8 seconds, 7.8 from me to Ginson, 34. That surprised me. I just couldn't believe it. And so I wanted that gap, obviously I wanted that gap to stretch out. The guy in front, DJW, is just pulling away slowly. So I'm sort of in no man's land at this point. Just trying to make that gap behind me get bigger while looking after my tyres. I was as nervous as at the beginning of this race. I'm more comfortable starting at the back, but for some reason, again, I was planning to start at the back, and I knew that my best time was about 1:47 on soft, and a lot of the qualifying times were around the 1:47 or 48, 49. But those times are probably with me being a little bit conservative on tyres and fuel. So in qualifying, I knew I could just push hard, stay in the lower gears and rev it out. So that's what got me a faster time and getting up near the front. But for now, it's going back to being very conservative with my fuel and tyres. And still the gap behind me, 8.4. So at this point I'm thinking I'm doing very well. So again, my brake balance is at 5 right at the back, and yet my front tyres, especially my front left, is really starting to struggle. Now I've just seen someone pit there, and I thought lap 5, that's very early to pit. And if you're on hards, I was assuming they'll be going on to soft. They've got another 13 laps, because they've only done 13 laps on soft. And I thought, that's just strange. So the gap behind me, Can He Rebound is now behind me in Australia. He's now 12 seconds. So it looks like that Jinsen Japanese guy, he's the one who I'm assuming is pitted. And the guy in front in the Ford test car, only just pulling away. It's now 3 seconds. So I've done 4 laps, and my tyres aren't looking too bad for 4, because I was aiming for maybe 8 to 10 laps on my soft to get as much in as I can so that my hards aren't so worn near the end. For me, I was happy with 48s, minute 48, minute 49, per lap. That, for me, that was good. Especially in a race when I'm just a touch nervous. 12-second gap behind me. So the guy in second place at DJW, he's now pitting at 51% fuel. So I'd be looking at my fuel thinking, okay, my fuel's going pretty good. More fuel I've got, less time I'm in the pits. So now I've got someone behind me, Stavros. I've raced against him a number of times. Say g'day to him, he seems okay. I think there was one race, maybe a year ago, where I think we were battling pretty hard. But since then, I think we've settled down and just say g'day. So he's now behind me, almost 13-second gap, which is pretty healthy. Although I know once these softs come off, I'm on the hards. So there may be other people just trying to keep close to me, but they're on hards and then they'll be going onto the soft. But this, I did find that even though my tyres are wearing, my fuel is depleting and they seem to cancel each other out. So lap times seem to stay consistent. So 9 seconds from the leader. So before this race, this was the first race of the day. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of racing, but I felt like I'd done enough testing to have some idea, but I still wasn't 100% because my performance wasn't brilliant. So I was worried, and mainly starting up near the front, I was so worried I'd just get knocked off the track and fall back. So there's a massive gap behind me. That's incredible. And for me, I start getting lost on who has pitted, who hasn't pitted. So Stavros, who's behind me, I think, well, I get the feeling he hasn't pitted yet. But Project K2R, the Japanese guy behind him, and Informal Arrow, I think his name is. I don't know if they've pitted or not. And so when I come to pit, I may actually find I'm falling quite far back. Now I can't remember when I pit. It may be lap 8, because I know when I finish lap 7 there's 10 laps remaining. So I think I go to lap 8. So I've been doing 148s, 149s, and lap 6 I've just hit a 150. Not 100% sure if I was aware of that at the time. I think I'm more focused on the people around me and split times. I could feel my tyres starting to labour, so I knew I was getting close. And I was pretty happy with the way I drove. I seemed to get my gears right. When I'm trying to save fuel and I'm pushing up to higher gears to save fuel, usually when I'm coming up to a corner I forget how far to gear down. So the leader, James Obros, so he's pitting 41% and I've got about 52%, so fuel-wise I'm doing alright. Just pushing a bit too hard there. And I think it was here I thought I'll see how my tyres go. Should I go another lap and just push as hard as I can on the softs? I think on this lap I thought I shouldn't push my luck. So I'm in first place and Project K2R 12.5 seconds behind me. And I look at the map in the top right hand corner and think, wow, that's starts looking good there, but still new. Still had to push. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm almost forever looking at the split time and monitoring how are my tyres going in relation to that split time. And if it starts dropping pretty hard, see, is that 11.8, 11.9? So I kind of felt like this guy was starting to catch, and the longer I go on, if I do another lap, I might find the next lap I'm pitting with him at 7 seconds behind me. That's 4 seconds I've lost because I've pushed these tyres too far. I'm just starting to really slide, having to go down to first gear, which normally I'll be in second. So I think here it's time for me to pit. So 11.4 seconds behind. Just tap the wall there. And even this moment was get the right tyre. Now I have been doing a lot of laps with fuel mix too. So even this I was concerned about, should I, the diamond there, just to the right of the fuel tank, should I go to that or go a bit further? So I thought I'll just go a bit further in case I need to go down to fuel mix 1. So that SR down there, that was because I tapped the wall, I think. So coming out of the pits now, behind Ginson and in 6th place. With a 4-second gap behind me to that Soul Play guy, who I had the impression he was pretty fast. I mean, he was ahead of me in qualifying, so I was a bit concerned about that. So in my mind, we were all doing a one-stopper. I just had the feeling that was the way to go. So that's my one stop, thinking that I've done pretty good to push those softs pretty far. My hards now should be relatively fresh near the end, and here I'm sliding a bit on cold hard tyres. I really want to catch up to Ginson, get in his slipstream and pass him. Still, even though I've just put a little bit of extra fuel in, still going through that fuel saving mode until I'm actually confident and confirmed I've got enough fuel to push it hard. I'll still just maintain that fuel saving motion. Just looking at the leaderboard, I could see Soul Play was just 3.4. He is slowly catching me. I am on hard, so I was thinking maybe he's on softs. But I'd always, in my mind, I'd always try and calm myself down by saying every lap that passes where someone's trying to catch up, if they have softs on, their softs are going to be wearing down. Whereas my hard should stay relatively fresh. So I'm pretty well in this guy's slipstream now. And my other concern was he was the guy behind me and the split time was growing, so I was concerned that he was actually causing that gap dropping by blocking people. So I was concerned, if that was the case, would he do it to me and be a bit rough? So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. So that's in front, obviously, that's the Mazda Vision and I wasn't really too sure how the Mazda Vision would perform against my Toyota car. I've forgotten the actual name of it, FGT or whatever it is. So here we go, I'm well in this slipstream, although again I'm in fuel mix 2. I'll think about, I just wanted to get out of his slipstream. I thought about going for a pass, and then he seems to just pull out a bit wide and let me go. So I just put my hazards on there just quickly, which isn't easy to do when you're trying to manage a car around a corner. Yeah, I was surprised at that, so I thought maybe he's got worn hards and he's just letting me go. But having said that, here's the guy who tapped me on turn 1, lap 1. So I thought maybe he's just got a guilty conscience. So back into 3rd place, and 6 seconds behind the Japanese guy in 2nd. Feel myself pulling away from the guy behind me, so he's catching him now. I must have made a terrible corner here, because he catches up quite a bit, but then again drops away. Must have been a bad corner for me. So the gap in front just dropped to 5.2. So here, position 1, hards. He's pitting, and I was just a bit confused about that. I wasn't sure at the time had he pitted or not. I think Ginson is pitting as well. So now I'm in 2nd place with Stavros 2 seconds behind me. It just seemed to be a lot of people pitting at this point. I started to think maybe they're doing a 2-stopper, because lap 12, a pit stop is going to take about 30 seconds. I just thought they were crazy at the time. I guess anyone who's doing a 2-stopper is spending a lot of time on softs, spending a small amount of time on hards, and then back onto the softs. So they're not entering that zone where the tyres are really worn. And Stavros, he's slowly catching up, 1.7, 1.9. Japanese guy U8 Mo, 3.84 seconds in front. So it looks like I'm catching him. At this part of the race, I always felt like it's just dragging on. We're only on lap 12. We've got another 5 laps to go. And can the tyres hang in there? And now he's pitting. I just couldn't believe it. It's like, right, so you're going to be 30 seconds behind. Stavros is pitting. So Project K2R is going to come out maybe in 2nd place. There he goes, 14 seconds behind. And lap 13, I just started thinking, even if you can catch me 1 second a lap, we've got 5 laps to go. That's 5 seconds. I started to think maybe I've got this. So my key focus was that split time of 13.1. It was at this point I really started to think some of these people have done a two-stopper, and they're possibly on soft. So it looks like James O'Bross, or Bro5, has overtaken Project K2R, and 12.1. So started to get a bit concerned, but again I was thinking, well, my hards should last a bit longer than their softs. So each corner, each lap was passing, I'd see that time just coming down, and I started to get a bit concerned. And you'll actually notice that basically, probably from here on in, there are moments where there's a bit of a panic on each corner. I'm just braking a touch late, it's down to 10 seconds. So I think it was last lap, yeah, I was 13 seconds ahead, now it's 10. So that's 3 seconds in one lap. So they're on fresh softs, I would imagine. Just so many people pitting, just I couldn't believe it. I mean, the map in the top right hand corner still looks like a real healthy lead. And I don't know if I'd want to be those guys behind, even though I've got fresh, or they would have fresh softs on there. They're still quite far back. But if they're looking at the split time, it's now 8.5, I'm sure they'd be thinking it's possible. So yeah, it looks like I've just gone back to fuel mix 1 there. I can see I've got 4 laps, or under 4 laps. It's going to be almost 3 laps remaining now, and I've got 4.2 laps of fuel. So I thought, well, I'll put it down to 1 and just monitor that fuel usage, because it might really start dropping hard. But as I put it up to 1 to get a bit more power and speed, my tyres are going to start wearing a little bit more, and there's a bit of a slide, bit of a time waster, 6.5 second gap. Still got 3 laps to go. Pretty consistent on the 1 minute 50s each lap. But this James O'Bro5 is catching up, and so I've got 3 laps to go, and they've caught up pretty fast. So I started to think maybe I'm going to finish 3rd, but after a little while I started to notice the guy in 3rd place, Project K2R, had started to drop back a bit. So you can see it now in that top right hand corner. The gap between me and James and Project K2R is pretty even at the moment. So that means if James is 5 seconds and 4 behind me, Project K2R is 4 seconds behind James. So Project K2R is 8 seconds behind me, and that's a little bit too much. So I started thinking, well, maybe if I get overtaken, I'll come in 2nd. So we're slowly coming up to the penultimate lap, which is the 2nd to last lap, and I've got 3 laps of fuel remaining. So didn't really have to worry about fuel at this point, just that split time, 2.7, 2.5. James is moving in, and I'm just trying to get away as quick as I can, obviously. Just, oh, not good. That would have really helped him out. 2.5, 2.3, 2.1, 1.8, 7. really starting to see him in my mirror now. I was really hoping his tyres would, like here, oh, it's another one. I was really hoping his tyres would begin to fall apart. And I think it was around here I started thinking, well, he's pretty much got me now. I'm starting to drive messy, he's catching me up pretty hard. I'm actually pushing here at the moment because I know he's going to overtake me. So I want to have him overtake me on a straight bit of road, so just around this corner. I'm trying to own this section here. I don't want him passing yet. I looked in the replay, he doesn't really see it, but I put my indicator on to say go around me. So I'm pulling over to the right. It's pretty hard to see in the actual replay, and I just let him go clean. Last thing I wanted was contact. Usually if I get contact and go off the road, I end up facing backwards into my wall, and that would have made me drop back quite a bit. Although you look at the top right hand map, and it's quite a gap between cars there. So here's the other thing, the last lap now is 1 second ahead of me. I've been doing pretty good with my fuel management, but I was really hoping this guy in front hadn't, and he'd start to realise he's running out of fuel, or he's pushed hard to try and get past me, and his tyres are just starting to go. So I wanted to stay close and keep that pressure on. Got a healthy gap behind me. Project K2R is 6.7 seconds behind. Unless something horrible goes wrong, I'm pretty safe from that guy. He's just now the guy in first place, trying to put just a little bit of pressure on him and just hoping he makes a mistake and drops off track. And then I all of a sudden I noticed there's something in my mirror behind me, and it's the last place guy, position 19, ghosted. And I think here I go a touch wide and get myself a penalty. And I was just a bit annoyed with this guy. He's on the driving line, he's in last place, he's not racing anyone else. I didn't say anything to him, but I kind of wanted to have a bit of a go at him at the end. Say, get off the driving line if you're in last place. Especially when first and second are pretty close. We could have been battling there, and he's just got right in the way. Anyway guys, so finish line, was pretty happy. Second place, 1 second penalty unfortunately. Yeah, that's the car, Toyota FT1 VGT. That's the car. So finishing off in second place, starting fourth and finishing second, 63 points. I was pretty happy with that, first race of the season. So I hope you enjoyed the stream guys, and looking forward to seeing your streams. See you in the next one.